Good afternoon. We're live. It is 3:07 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9:07 p.m. in the UK. It's across the Pondcast, the best podcast you've never heard of. Sam and Matt here, and we have a very special guest. We got Lebarron Burton from Popcorn World joining us today and taking some time out of his busy schedule to drop by the Pondcast. How are you this afternoon, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Not too bad. Matt looks okay.
I am super excited. I'm not going to lie. I've been looking forward to this all week.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we are excited. I'm fighting a little bit of a head cold. Actually, it's kind of a severe one, but Alka-Seltzer. So that's yeah. Well, it's okay. I mean, the funny thing is, I was a kid. We had Alka-Seltzer. That's what my dad used to give me, and so that's what I keep taking because it works. But when I was a kid, the only flavor they had was, I guess, battery acid or turpentine or whatever that flavor was. It tasted worse than anything. But now they have like Alka-Seltzer that's got like orange. It almost tastes like Fanta. It's kind of close. If you close your eyes, it almost tastes like orange soda. So I drew on a couple of those. So I apologize if I sound a little nasal, but apparently the family decided to transition a cold to me. So what are you going to do? So I'm glad to see you. So are you still at the office or you're at home? It looks like, I can't really tell, but you're dressed real nice. We're all looking like, casual bums.
So I was thinking that. I was like, we should have dressed up for the show.
Right.
Well, today was Sunday, and I'm a PK kid, so I had to speak today. So I
gotcha.
Look the part, as they say.
Right. Yeah. So usually we have a t-shirt check, but in this case, LeBaron's got a nice shirt and tie on, and we look like a couple of mopes. So.
I like the tie, though. To be fair,
very, 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 very classy. I do like that look. That's a good look. So
we're rocking merch, though. So
yeah. So we got TK and then
TK,
some gadget guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we definitely are repping our favorite creators. So we'd like to have you on the show to talk popcorn. Yeah. I have had some before in the past. Matter of fact, prior to the show starting, we talked about. I placed another order today, so I'm gonna get some refills of some popcorn oracles. It's fantastic. I can't tell you how much I enjoy the flavors. They're like, when you ever have stuff that tastes like, it says like, this tastes like so-and-so, and you're like, it's close, right? It's like 80% there, but man, some of the stuff is so spot on. It's almost like, it's crazy. So I'm a huge fan. And so we're trying to get some into the house and get Matt some, because he's licking his lips. He's getting stupid about it. So I guess
it'll work out. It'll work out. We'll get something. Chris, Chris,
so
expert. He's after some as well.
I think it's my connection. I had a phone call, and now it's doing that chirping thing again.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully it'll reconcile itself with a little bit of time. You sound fine. Mm-hmm. So if I sound a little chirpy, I apologize for that.
You just cleared up.
Okay, perfect. Good deal.
So
yeah. So I guess I'm going to ask you, how did the whole thing get started? I mean, like, what's the genesis of Popcorn World? I'm just awesomely curious. Like, how did this all start back in the day?
Well, actually, two of my best friends that I grew up with started the business. Okay. And they started it in 2008, during the recession, actually. And it was just one of those things that one of them, they're twins, identical twins. We grew up with each other since fourth grade.
Cool.
And the way I met them was because I fought one of them, and I fought one, I had to fight the other. So,
well, of course, it's a package deal. I get it.
Right. So we became best friends from there, and they started the business. We had lost contact with each other in about 2000 because they were, at that time they were in knucklehead mode, and I was in like get married, settle down mode.
Right.
So we kind of like parted ways. Oh. I'm sorry. Am I still there?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. A little bit of break, but we're back.
That's the missus calling me.
Fair enough.
So, which is the reason I don't like doing these things on my phone. But they ended up starting Popcorn World, and they started it off. They jumped it to about 35 flavors. I built them a website, and then from there, they just started adding flavors,
right,
just to see how many flavors they could add. In 2013, they came and got me. I was doing technical consulting, and I was kind of like, almost kind of like what you would call in a depression state, because I had wrote a business plan for social networking back in 2000. Wow. And the whole reason I was doing technical consulting, because I left the workforce in order to try to fund this project.
Okay.
That never got off the ground. Facebook hit. And once Facebook hit, that kind of sent me,
Yeah.
So then they were like, look, if you haven't made $1 billion yet and we've made $1 million, you know what? You might as well come on with us. There's some stuff that needs to be tweaked with the business, So I did, it was like, hey, what's the most that could happen, So
right.
I came on board with them and found out that, because we used to be Popcorn Haven, we weren't always Popcorn World.
Yeah, I noticed that with the website address. I noticed it was, or when it comes up when you make the payment on PayPal, it says Popcorn Haven LLC is what the actual business comes up as, right?
So we were Popcorn Haven, and what they did, the mistake that they made was when they built the business, they built it on licensees. We had 20 licensees, but all the licensees came under different names. So you can have Matt's Popcorn, Sam's Popcorn, which when you do that, you don't have an identifiable brand.
Right.
And so basically you created a bunch of competitors. So by 2016, I had convinced them that, hey, you're going to have to do a rebrand. There's no way around it. And what was the deciding factor was we were in Food Network magazine. Food Network magazine went through the country, found 25 of the top flavors in the U.S. Well, we were 8 of the top 10 flavors, right?
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
Not bad.
But the problem was that they were all our licensees.
Oh, man.
So our licensees got credit for it. We were still in the top 8 as Popcorn Haven, but we were in there with like Italian sausage. And Italian sausage is not like our greatest flavor. I barely circulate that flavor ever, because it's like, this is,
kind of
it's
specific.
the flavor. Yeah. It's on the list. We'll probably never sell it,
Right.
So, but they chose it, and for all our top flavors, like the strawberry cheesecake and the crab leg and the dill pickle, the flavors that everyone talks about, all of our licensees got credit for those. So it was like, now do you guys see the problem?
Right. Now it becomes that becomes pretty apparent. Like you look at that, you're like, it just kind of sold itself for you, right? He's like,
yeah.
Exactly. So then they agreed to rebrand the company. And my buddies, they go from one extreme to the next. There's no middle ground with them,
Right.
Most people say that about me too, but it's like, okay, so we're going to rebrand. One of them took a vacation to Vegas and came back. Oh, we're going to rebrand in Vegas. And it's like, oh, God. So we rebranded in Vegas,
Yeah.
And we had a store at the Venetian Hotel. We had a store at the Fashion Show Mall. And we had a store at a place called the Meadows Mall.
Okay.
Racked up about $25,000 a month in lease. All right.
It's Vegas, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, we were doing well, though. We were doing well. Venetian was a terrible idea. The Fashion Show Mall was a terrible idea. Those 2 locations cost us about $22,000, right? The mall that I chose and the mall that we had the kitchen in cost us about $3,000. All right.
Wow.
That location made the money for all 3 locations.
Right. So my question is, why so of a variance between the $3,000 at that location and then the basically 11,000 for the other ones? Was the location, the space size? What was it exactly?
It was the Venetian.
Okay.
It's a Venetian hotel, tourist attraction. The problem is we had to realize that we're not the upscale white glove environment. We're the loud, rowdy, hey, how are you doing? Look, we're like a Circus Olay,
right,
type of environment, So we're loud. We're, I train my staff to like get in dirty with the customers.
Right.
the more that they're laughing and sampling popcorn, the better we do.
Right.
Where the Venetian is like, it's more of a may I help you? And it's like,
yeah, bellhop, white glove, upscale.
yeah,
everything on a tray. Hello, sir. Would you like to try? Would you like to partake in a piece of popcorn? It was like,
right.
instead of giving somebody like, hey man, you need to get in on this. Here's a noogie. Get you some popcorn and shut your mouth. Here you go. Catch it in your mouth. There you go.
Right.
Yeah, different clientele for sure.
Yeah. Give me one moment. I apologize.
No, it's okay. Ooh.
Super cool, man.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing how something like this gets started, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just I love the origin stories of these kinds of things. I love to hear because it's never always like a super planned thing. It's like it's just a lot of happenstance and it just kind of rolls, right? It's pretty cool.
I love it. Yeah.
I apologize.
No, that's okay. Hey, business calls. We get it. No, that's okay. We were talking about how we like the origin stories, especially about businesses and stuff, because you never think it's never always like a real like fleshed out plan. It's like things just kind of happen and a little thing happens and it organically just kind of snowballs and a decision here and a decision there, either yay or nay, right? It's that thin of
exactly
how, so I was curious. So you got two different kinds of clientele. And I think for popcorn, it's kind of ubiquitous, but it seems like it would do better in a shop where everybody's just like where I used to in St. Louis, they used to have a place, Union Station was like a mall, and they had like a fudge factory, and they were always singing songs and making fudge and having a good time. It was like an event. Like when you were watching them do it, people would just stand around just to watch everybody singing and flipping fudge, and just like it was like almost like watching a performance. And then people would have pieces. So it was almost more of not the popcorn that sells itself. If you like popcorn and you like flavors, which who doesn't, that works itself out. But the fact that people stop and go, I'm going to watch this just because I think this is like an event happening for regular folks to kind of enjoy. I think that's a real good draw.
It's the fun environment. It's what it builds. It doesn't just build people going, oh yeah, it's really good, but it's a bit boring in there. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not.
Or clinical. You just go in there, you buy your popcorn.
You've got to go here. It's amazing.
And
that's what you want.
Even with the online presence, we didn't become an online our business in the last year has gone from $10,000 a year to right now to date, I've probably done over $200,000 online. Okay.
Wow.
That's
and
growth.
it's really due to, and that's the other thing that I was trying to convince my buddies of, because they would go and they would spend $1,300 a month on a billboard, right, near the locations. And I'm like, that only works in the South. You got to be living in like Alabama, somewhere like that, where people are driving through, and the only way that they know where anything exists is through a billboard.
Right.
But when you're in like a major city like Chicago, we're billboard out. Like I can't tell you, and I spent a lot of hours behind the wheel with the business. I probably averaged maybe 40,000 miles a year on the car, right?
Wow, that's a lot of driving.
And I might be able to identify with 3 billboards,
Oh yeah, and in Chicago, they're like they're on sides of like you'll be driving down like Division, and there's just like a billboard stuck on the side of it's on the side of a building, like it's a 2-story. It's just like, and they're tucked away. It's just like it's just everywhere. And then you got people are like looking around. There's people, there's busy, there's other things happening, so it loses impact in those kind of places for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so my idea with them was like, hey, let me take it to the internet. The internet is the greatest word of mouth, grassroots marketing tool known to man to date,
Right.
And they were a little leery because they're like, I'm like, okay, well, what happened was after we did the Vegas thing was, needless to say, not a good idea.
Right.
Because the problem is you have to staff, and then you have to keep control of your quality control and your customer service. Well, after a year of flying to Vegas every 2 weeks and us alternating, we had a house out there, and it's like I got tired of forgetting clothes in the other house. I mean, it was just, it's like, man, this is a bit much. And we would take turns, and it came down to 2018, the year before the week before Thanksgiving, and I get that phone call, hey, it's your turn, and you gotta hire a whole new staff.
Oh no.
So that means I gotta hire a whole new staff, train them. So that means I won't be home until maybe a week before Christmas.
Yeah, you're gonna need at least a month to probably get everybody up to speed with the POS system.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean that's training a whole staff when nobody's there is a really hard task for sure.
Exactly,
especially in a month.
Yeah, so that call was like not gonna happen. What do you mean? It's your turn. It ain't gonna happen, buddy. There's no way I can sit in front of my wife and say, "Hey, babe, guess what? I got to take off to Vegas. I won't be here for Thanksgiving, and I might be here a week before Christmas." There's no way. I don't know if you guys are married, but there's no way you win that conversation.
No, that's a lose. And here's the thing: if you have the kind of wife that I'm sure you do, that I do, she just give you that look like, "Oh no, fucking way!" That's not in any universe that you want to exist in.
I'd get that look. You are not.
They just look at you like you leave this house for that reason, and you're coming back to an empty house, if not sleeping on the couch for about 10 years. Yeah,
there you go.
Right, yeah, I get you.
And even if she did agree with it, that would even make you even more nervous.
No, I could never. I would be constantly thinking about when is she gonna when's that gonna flip? Right, when's she gonna say, "Yeah, it's cool, baby," and you're like,
"This is a trick."
You mean it's cool? But where
I'm getting gonna bite me in the ass?
Yeah, I'm getting. You're thinking I'm getting set up. There's something that's not how. I agree. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. As soon as I get to Vegas, and it's gonna be that phone call of, so you really did it, huh? You really went, and it's like, nah. So they were like, "So what are we gonna do? Are we gonna shut it down?" And go, "That's exactly what we're gonna do." Now this phone call was on a Tuesday.
Okay.
I said, "Yeah, shut it down." He goes, "Well, you got to go now." I took the next red eye out, and I had Vegas shut down by that Friday morning.
Wow, that's pretty quick. 3 days, about 3-4 days. Yeah, dude.
Everything was packed on a truck and on its way back to Georgia, because that's where we originated out, was Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia. And at first, on my flight there, I was a little sick to the stomach, because it's like you never want to tell someone that they don't have a job anymore. If you're any type of a person with ethics and a heart, that's like the worst thing that you ever want to tell. I don't care if it's a teenager, you just don't want to tell someone they don't have work, right? So I'm on my way there, and I'm like, oh God, how am I going to do this? I'm rehearsing it in my head,
Right.
And so I get there, and we never let the employees or the staff know when we're in town, right?
Right.
So I'm at the top of the mall, and I can see down at the store, and it's like I don't see any movement, any action. I see one young lady that I'd never met before, right? And I'm looking for the manager that was supposed to be there. This is the manager that they're complaining about. So I come down, and I go in there. First thing you do is you check the safe, because now you got to account for the funds in the safe. $895 missing, right? So it's like, oh God, $895. I don't say anything, and I'm like, okay, so where's the other two? There's 4 people checked in on the clock, but I only see 2 people here.
Right.
Where's anybody on break or whatever? Oh, he must have forgot to punch out. He's sick. Long story short, I go, well, I'm going to come back. I got to go to my hotel. I'll be back. Come back. I come back to the store. It has the 4 people there.
Some phone calls got made. Hey, boss is in town. If you weren't here, you better be here now if you want to keep your ass in job, because you better get here now.
Exactly. Yep. So I come back, and I'm talking to the manager, and she's like, yeah, he had took off sick, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So this guy comes strolling in, and he's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, how are you? He's like, oh, I'm just coming off break. I go, no, you were sick.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I decided to just go ahead and take my break, and I go, so you don't punch out for break? How long has that been happening? Well, and then everybody's backpedaling, right? Then I go back to this.
Nope. Oh, there it goes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we don't a little bit. Yeah, we're good. You went back to I guess you said you went back to the safe.
Yeah. One moment.
We're doing it live. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, he's a busy man.
Like, oh yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. I mean it's
100%.
Cool. I like it. It's cool. Oh, there it is. Take that. No, it's okay. Take the call. It's cool.
No, they're going. I know what they're. She's.
No, it's okay. We totally get it.
Guys.
No, we didn't. No, we realize we're kind of Sundays aren't always a rest day for everybody. Some things just keep happening when you're a business owner and you're running things. It just keeps
Sunday doesn't stop, man.
No,
Sunday,
it's just the hustle keeps. The hustle's real. So you go back to the safe, and I guess
and all the money is back.
Oh, imagine that. Like we call it. Where I used to work, we used to call it FM. What's FM? It's fucking magic. Oh wow, look at that FM. All of a sudden, just $900 just materializes in the safe. Oh, who knew? Right? Yeah.
Right. So, so I give them a breakdown. So now I'm not feeling bad about what's coming. Right.
Right.
So there's a new young lady that had just started the day before, and I said, well, I'm here to let you guys know that today's your last day.
Boom.
And they're looking at me like, what do you mean? I said, today's your last day. I'm shutting it all down. And I look at the new girl and I said, I'll tell you what, come in tomorrow and you can work the rest of the week and I'll pay you for 2 weeks. But I have to apologize. This is going to be shut down. Come Monday, this won't be here. Went over to the leasing office, let them know. And they're thinking like, okay, so, when will you be gone? Blah, 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 And I told them we'll be out by Friday. And they're looking at me because now they're thinking, oh, he's going to leave all types of, trash, blah, blah, blah. I hired a crew and we moved everything out. And that was the last of Vegas. Friday morning, about 11 a.m., I was on my way back home to Indiana,
Cool.
So that's from that point, my partners had began to realize, hey, essentially we're starting from zero again. And at that point, they were in the mode that they wanted to protect their investment, the capital that they had made. Right. So they had started a ministry in Georgia, and they were like, look, we can't do both. A brand new ministry and keep the business and restart the business. So they were like, if you agree to take all the debt, you can have the company, all right? And if you sell the company, then you cut us in 10% of the sale.
That's fair.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, what's the worst that can happen?
Right.
Mm.
And that's how I came about to be Mr. Popcorn World,
That's a fantastic.
That's such a cool story, man. I love that.
Just the listening, and
it's just the way things happen. It's like literally you jump in. What's the worst that can happen? Jump in again. What's the worst that can happen? And look now, small choices here and there, and here you are.
Yeah, I mean, I knew the potential of the brand because when we would open a store, people would be amazed.
Mm-hmm.
It was just. There's just a few things that needed to be tweaked. We were spending money in places that we shouldn't have spent money in, and it just little things. And for me, I'm not the orthodox business person where they say X amount of your dollars should be allocated for advertisement. Nah, I'm 45, so I'm a little older on the technology end of things. But I have the awareness of knowing that, okay, things don't work like that no more. Right. The internet is like the most powerful and the best marketing you can ever have is grassroots. Right. Somebody liking the product and genuinely selling everyone else that they like the product.
Yeah. And
So,
conversely, if the product is a poor customer service experience, the product isn't up to speed, then you're going to find out very quickly how that word of mouth can turn. And all of a sudden now you're working against. Yeah,
it spreads like how I found out.
Mm-hmm.
And I live in the UK, a country that you don't ship to, and I still found out just purely by social media and like people sharing it and covering it on like One and like covering it on channels.
Right.
and I caught your average consumer's unboxing of the Popcorn World stuff. It's just little stuff like that, but it goes a long way.
And I live by this theory that you're two people from knowing everyone in the world. That's and your average consumer, I got that contact from another tech person that, because I didn't even know how to get it to him. I didn't want to send it to a PO because the UPS doesn't even send to a PO box.
Right.
I talked to that person and he gave him an address to send it to, and I sent it to it. And so I literally genuinely believe you're two people from knowing everyone in the world.
Right. For sure.
And
That's true.
I would rather give out $20,000 worth of popcorn than to pay $10,000 for an advertisement from someone everyone knows.
Right. And on top of that, how many people nowadays, when it comes to ads, I mean, look how they react to ads on internet or on their YouTube or like mailers, right? Anything like that. They're just like, oh God, just if I see another ad, even if it's a product I may be interested in, that just disregard it. And you spent $10K as opposed to, I remember that guy was doing the, I can't remember his name, the guy that did the business cards for the bars. He says, you give him a business card, you have him, hey, next time you come in, here's ask for a free appetizer. Next time you come in here, now you spent basically $10 of food costs, and now you've got a customer. Now they've made 3 visits to your restaurant or your bar, and now they're lifelong people. And you spent very little money, and it's more personal because they feel like your business is catering to their needs directly. It's me. It's not just I'm not just a blanket mailer recipient. Lebarron's company cares about me
exactly
as a person.
The fact that the product is your popcorn is so good. One person, like your average consumer, has the viewers. They're like, I'm going to check that out. And then, again, that's how you get it rolling.
Right.
So I enjoy it. What I'm curious is the flavors. Like, where do you come up with the ideas for some of the flavors you've got?
The customers come up with it. Really, to be honest with you, it's the customers.
Really?
Yeah, we have our process down, okay, and our process enables us to do just about anything when it comes to flavors.
Okay.
So it's really the secret in our process that gives us the ability to make a cinnamon toast crunch or a crab leg popcorn.
Right. So I did ask offline about like the Doritos.
I really want to try them.
Right, and you had
crab legs. I want to try them so much.
I know, it just sounds so good. And it was funny because offline we had asked about like the one you have for Doritos, and I was asking about like, okay, well, you call it Doritos. There's their licensing, and you had a great explanation. I'd love the listeners to hear how you explained how that works with food stuff as opposed to like hats or shirts or something.
We're able to call it Dorito popcorn because it's actually coated in Doritos. We're not using some off-brand of nacho or something like that and then calling it Dorito, because then we would be lying. So as long as we're coating it, it's like if you go to McDonald's and you get an Oreo McFlurry, you're able to call it an Oreo McFlurry because it has Oreos in it. So you're just calling it actually what it is.
Right.
And so there's no legalities behind that, Yeah. And Doritos is looking at it like this: they're selling more product,
right? And they don't have to do anything, and they don't have to spend any money on your business. They can just basically have people at the grassroots organic level, just basically who maybe I don't know who's never had a Dorito. I mean, at this point, it's almost impossible to think, but yeah, they get free advertising, and people go to their, they may get new customers for sure.
Exactly.
So I guess when you say customers, so did they just come in and say, hey man, if you had a such and such, like if you had crab legs popcorn, I would get in all on that. And then I guess my question is,
that's it, because Chris said that the other day. Chris said, I can't remember what flavor it was, but when he was on our show, I think, or he was in a chat of some form somewhere, he says, I'd buy this flavor if it was a thing. And Lebarron was like, that's a good idea. I can't remember what it was.
I'm trying to. I know I have it in my notes. I have to.
But that's how a flavor comes alive.
Yeah, and that's really like I had jerk, right? Well,
Right.
I had never, even being a black guy, I had never had jerk chicken before, right? And a Jamaican guy comes into the shop and he goes, hey, but you don't have my Jamaican accent is terrible. But he's like, you don't have jerk, you know? And I was like, okay, I don't know what jerk is. He goes, you get jerk popcorn, I'll come by and buy $100 worth, you know? So he has started coming in like once a week, and he kept saying the same thing. And everyone in the tech, most people in the tech community realize that I'm a competitive person now. That's with the whole tech Saturday night fights or whatever. I can't turn down resist the opportunity to to compete. So I took it as a challenge. So I had to go out first and find out what jerk chicken was and what it consists of, and went out, found the seasonings. We made jerk popcorn, and he had to come in and buy $100 worth of popcorn, and come to find out everyone loves it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's really good. Like I said, I didn't get it on this round, but yeah, we have, and the reason why I was asking, because in St. Louis, it's kind of known as it's a pretty good barbecue place. So obviously that in Kansas City as well, in Memphis, but they have these barbecued chips in St. Louis, and they're called Red Hot Riplets. And if nobody's in the chat is from St. Louis, but I was thinking, and they're so popular that they actually make seasoning. So you can just like the dust, right? And you can just put it on like mashed potatoes. So I got a whole jug of this stuff, and I put it on everything. It's like my Frank's Red Hots, right? You put that shit on everything. Okay. I put it on everything. So I'm thinking, man, if you could get that, since it has Red Hot Riplets dust already, it's the perfect flavor. So I thought about, hell, worst case, if I can't get Lebarron to do it, I'll just buy a basic set of popcorn and throw a bunch of Red Hot Riplet dust all over the top of it. Because it's a local St. Louis potato chip named Old Vienna. They make chips.
And it's called Red Hot Riblet?
Yeah, Red Hot Riplets. I'll send you an email with it. It's really pretty cool, but it's like local to St. Louis. So anybody who's in St. Louis, it's basically barbecued flavored kind of rippled chips is what it is. But it's only locally here. But what's cool is it's so popular that they started selling like the dust. So you can actually get like a flavor, almost like paprika. You can just put it on stuff. It's awesome. So I thought, man, what I wouldn't do to get some Red Hot Riplets barbecue or flavored popcorn. I think I'd eat a gallon of the stuff. So it's interesting to see how they do that.
And see, that's how the flavors come about, because now you pique my interest. I'll probably end up ordering this stuff just to see if I can work with it,
Yeah, I'll send you an email offline. Can I get your email? I'll send you the link to them, because I don't know, they may have where you can just buy it in bulk. I'm sure you can at like a distributor. I mean, give it a shot. But I mean, I know in St. Louis, it's like the favorite barbecue chip for anybody who lives in St. Louis. It even says it's made with St. Louis hot sauce. I mean, it's really cool if you get a chance to check it out. So especially when you said about the Doritos, I'm like, well, then there's no licensing problem. He just buys the stuff and puts it on there, and you got a St. Louis traditional St. Louis kind of barbecue flavor. That's maybe people in Gary, Indiana, like the toasted raviolis, right? We're trying to get that everywhere too. So
something else I want to try.
I'm game to try it. Now, I want, if I can get me a UK partner, because it takes a bit more, because we got to find distribution on corn and things like that. But if I can get me a UK partner, I would love to. I can't tell you how many DMs I'm getting, or emails actually, that I'm getting about the UK, and it's like, I really, really, really would love to be there, because I think it would go over great.
Oh yeah, there ain't nothing like that
once
here
I get
at
a
all.
UK partner.
Well, especially in like grocery stores, like co-ops and like petrol stations and stuff. Can you imagine like just having little bags? I
stuff would be everywhere, honestly, because there's nothing like that here. There's the odd flavor, but they're all crap.
Like cheddar.
I'm just going to tell you the truth. Yeah,
probably your cheddar, your caramel stuff,
pickle, and I'm like, and it doesn't taste good, and then it's not even good popcorn. So it's like, so if you ever did get over here, man, it would go over well, for sure.
And then DT makes a comment in the chat. He's like, Lebarron, he goes, I will pay extra for you to ship it from the UK to the EU. There are people who are just in our chat alone. People have some guy said that he had to actually like convince a person that Popcorn World was a real thing. He's like, you can't be kidding me. That's not a real thing. He's like, here's the website. Quit being an asshole, right? It's right here.
I swear, if there wasn't a pandemic, I would be so tempted to just get on a plane, fly over, just to come in and then fly back.
Well, that's cool because you can fly here to St. Louis, and Gary, Indiana's not very far. It's about 350 miles.
Yeah, exactly.
Quick to Chicago, and it's right there.
Yeah, and see that's the thing is, so I saw concept creator. He looked out for me, and I was like, hey, I got to do something for him. So I sent him some popcorn. So that was my first time sending it internationally, and it literally cost me about $310 to send him a box of popcorn. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Customs, man. You get it from the US to any border in the EU. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's in Holland in the Netherlands. So yeah, but UK, I mean, I try to send Matt tried to send a phone.
Yeah, tech is different because sending food to the UK carries a 0.1% tax charge on customs. Phones is anything up to 150%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whew, that's tough. So yeah, hopefully maybe after this whole pandemic thing kind of lines out a little bit and things get a little bit normal, because I know I've sent stuff to the UK and it was never ever even nearly that amount, even food items and stuff like that. So, but yeah, getting you a UK footprint. I mean, I can tell you right now with that market, I don't think anybody out there has anything even close to this, and you'd be like the only game in town. And there are a lot of snackers, I guess, in the UK as well.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's
well. I have a negotiations meeting with FedEx this coming week. So they've gotten me down to 60% of costs. You know, where they're knocking down, they're knocking off. They're giving me a 60% discount.
Well, that's pretty good.
So yeah. So if that works for my international orders, I may be able to like group orders. You know,
right.
And really, I would do it mainly for the tech community. I would, cause like Ben, lover of tech.
Yeah. Fan of the show. We love that guy. He's awesome.
Friend of mine.
Yeah.
Good guy.
So it's Ben. There's another guy in, is it Dan?
Dan Gage? There's Dan Gage.
Dan Gage is here in the U.S.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's yeah, that's right. He's in Ohio or something.
But someone else, is it Dave in Austria? I think it is.
Oh, could be. I don't know.
Austria. He does a lot of photos with OnePlus. He uses the OnePlus and takes a lot of mobile photos.
Okay.
But I've been promising him corn, and I had told Ben, I was like, look, if you guys can ship within the UK, I'll just make a mass order, get it to one of you guys, and then you guys could be responsible for getting it to the next guy.
Yeah, like a little distro.
That's actually what we said about our merch. Because our merch comes from Etsy, which is in the US, the customs charge is ridiculous. Okay. And me and Sam was talking about that. Send me a bulk load of the stuff, and anyone that orders it in the UK, I just ship it to them straight from here. Like, because it cuts out all that stupid cost of customs and taxes and stuff.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking to do soon. Only reason I hadn't done it as of yet is because we got hit with these online orders, and that took a lot out of me.
Yeah, I even noticed when I went to the website, there was even a little kind of disclaimer that said, "Hey, your order may be late because we're just getting a lot of volume here for sure."
Yeah,
well, that's a good problem to have, I think.
It is a good problem to have. I think me and some of the UK creators need to band together and buy a shit ton bulk and then just distribute it.
Yeah, and that I would even make it worth the while where I would just throw the popcorn in and I would just split the difference. I throw the popcorn in, and if they cover the shipping or vice versa, you know, one of the two. Yeah. So just enough to get it, you know, to the guys that have been asking consistently for several months now.
Sure. And I guess I had a question. I noticed there was franchise opportunities that you were talking about, like, I guess a brick and mortar store and like a kiosk. Do you actually, does that actually work pretty good? Are they going more to kiosks or mortar stores? I mean, how has that really developed anywhere as far as like places like St. Louis or like Memphis or like East Coast or anything like that?
So I don't have any licensees. I only have one licensee under the Popcorn World brand. All the licensees that we had prior is from the Popcorn Haven brand, right. And I'm not really associated with them. My partners, they kind of eat off that money. Like they still get right. the licensee fees for that. I got one licensee under me, and I hadn't this year is probably the year that I start focusing on more licensees because now the brand is at the point where it has to grow because right. We just by the internet presence, we have national recognition now. So it would be more of the licensee. The thing about the kiosk is you really can't do a kiosk without having a kitchen. So you have to do the licensee first.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. And I'm not really a fan of the kiosk deal. That's something that I'm probably going to take that information down from the site.
Okay.
And the reason being is a kiosk operates under a different rule than having your own store.
Right.
And when you're in a brick and mortar, the experience is everything.
Yeah, for sure.
When you have a kiosk at a mall or something like that, there's so many rules and things that they give you. Like your viewpoint can't exceed 30-something inches.
Okay.
They got it. Because you think about it, you're in the middle of a mall, and you have what you called I forget the term of the outbound stores are paying for premium view.
Right.
So your kiosk can't cover up their front window.
Right. You can't obstruct view, and then like anchor stores have to have some kind of like probably
stores,
a curtilage where they can't you can't have anything that obstructs any kind of view within like 60 meters or 80 meters or something like that. You got to kind of stay all in a weird spot. It's logistically probably a pain in the butt. And honestly, malls are kind of going away here in St. Louis, especially like major malls. Those are as a platform for stored and customer interactions. Malls are gone. I mean, there you
go.
They're just not. They're not really viable. Hell, probably a food truck would probably a little bit more of a because you could have a kitchen component.
Oh, dude, the food trucks in the UK, they do so well. They're always busy.
That's the next position where I'm taking it is probably food truck. Because like if you do something like if you can get anywhere close to like a national football game or something like that, with the foods, with a popcorn truck. Oh,
you imagine how much would sell a football game with all them flavors.
And here's the thing. So here in St. Louis, and Lauren's probably a sports fan, so he knows the Rams moved back to LA, but he doesn't understand how huge Cardinal games are. And I'm telling you, I work downtown, and when there's Cardinal, like especially day games or just evening games, if you had like a popcorn, I mean, there's always vendors selling peanuts and those kind of things, but if you could get a food truck that's close to Busch Stadium, Cardinals games sell out. There's 50,000 people every night, like clockwork. I mean, there are 3 million attendees every year, like nothing. This is not a small market, even though it's a small city. And as you can tell, I've got my Cardinals gear on.
I wouldn't say small city, but that's because I live in the UK.
No, it's a small city. In as far as like against like Atlanta and those like that, Chicago, St. Louis is very much a small metropolitan area. But as far as like getting it near a Cardinal or a Blues game, oh, dude, you could crush.
I don't know how much money you'd make if you got a food truck, drove it to London, and then drove it the length of the UK.
Yeah, but
stopping in certain cities on the way.
But the only thing I would say is because remember, you have to have the kitchen component. So you want to make sure that satisfies Lebarron's need for the kitchen and how that's structured and all that kind of stuff. But I think a food truck because
it's a good place to want to move to. Yeah.
Well, because it's mobile. You can go where the customers are.
Especially with it being popcorn because it's perfect.
Yeah. So that's the next move that I want to take. Even with a food truck, you still have to have a stationary kitchen because the kettle machine, we call it a kettle. That's the machine that candies the popcorn.
Right.
it's a pretty big machine. Like it stands probably like 7.5 feet tall, and
also a food lorry.
Yeah, you need a food lorry. Yeah,
Big food truck.
Yeah, and the bed of it is about 9 feet by 4 feet.
Wow.
So
that's pretty
it's
significant size.
Yeah, that's not something you can move easily.
And I guess would you need one of those kettles? How many of those kettles would you kind of effectively need for a normal store? Would just one suffice, or would you need multiple? Like, how does that, like the logistics of what you need to get it started? How would that look?
For one of those machines for a store.
Okay.
One kettle. Like right now, I am opening up another store where I'll have 2 kettles operating, and those 2 kettles will run 3 stores.
Okay. Gotcha.
But technically, they're running 3 stores in the internet. So my internet needs are really major, but I can suffice them right now with 2 kettles.
Right.
So, and that's with me moving maybe, I want to say 30 orders a day. Okay. So at 30 orders a day, plus I got one store that brings in probably about 60 customers a day. So you're talking probably right now, the way it stands right now, I probably move 2,500 pounds worth of popcorn a week.
Wow.
Of unpopped popcorn, about 2,500 pounds of unpopped popcorn a week right now.
Yeah. And then Greg has an interesting question. He goes, especially with the food, like a kiosk, but even with a food truck, you obviously couldn't carry every flavor like a traditional store. So you'd have to maybe keep like the top 10 selling brands, and then maybe having a rotating, hey, this week is dill pickle week, or this week is hot wing week. And this, but have that same, because you probably have metrics on, which 25 are the top flavors that move and those kind of things.
Exactly.
And be able to insert like, hey, this week, on this weekend, we're doing a special batch, limited time batch of, the dill pickle or the sriracha and garlic, right? And then it's like,
right.
Dude,
yeah, that's what I got. The hot wing and the sriracha garlic. Dude, I saw that. I was like, oh man, I know it's not the hottest like I like, but I was like, oh, garlic and sriracha, get out of here, man. I was like, add to cart. It's like hot wing. Add to cart. I'll take that. So yeah, but I guess you could do that, and you would know which flavors move. And also, I would think that's kind of market specific, right? If you're in the South and you're out West and you're in the East Coast and Midwest, those flavors obviously have to move a bit.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be. My stores are about 25 minutes apart. And just from Oakland, Illinois to Gary, Indiana, there's a different shift in what popcorn we sell, like what our top sellers at one location is compared to the other location.
That's interesting. What do you have any thoughts on why that would be? That's kind of interesting.
Local tastes in it, I suppose.
Yeah, cultural differences. If I'm in an area where there's a lot of, if I'm in an area where there's a lot of blacks, an area where there's a lot of Hispanics, you can have a large Polish. It really
Chicago especially. Yeah, that's a huge Polish population in Chicago. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it really depends on the demographic of or the culture that is within that area.
Right.
Hispanics like a lot of spicy foods. So those sell well. In Gary, where there's a lot of blacks, then we have like the things that you see at the local corner stores and things like that. Like they'll do a lot of the dill pickle. Or one of the big things about our locations are mixes. Like you guys get it off the internet, you just see the flavors of themselves.
Right.
In the store, there's a different experience because most of the customers are doing their own mixes. So they'll take a barbecue and mix it with a hot cheddar and mix it with like a caramel. and they'll have their own little mix there.
Oh, inside of one container, so that's all three different kind of popcorn flavors in one. Oh wow, yeah, different experience altogether. Because it's like I guess you go into like a Menchie's or an ice cream shop, you can put gummy bears and whatever.
Yeah, you can do it. It's like a pick and mix.
It's up to the customer to go whatever flavors work for them, then kind of mix and match and try different stuff and mix. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't even think of that component. That's really fascinating that you mentioned that because I wouldn't even have thought about that.
Hard to implement online though.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what. So like I said, 25 minutes makes a big difference.
Wow. I guess, and right. And also I've learned that people, Asian communities really like, because I've had some of the hottest stuff I've ever had is like in Asian restaurants. They used to have these little red peppers. I swear to God, they were so hot. I felt like you were biting your tongue. I was like, oh my God. It's like, so even in Asian communities, that spice, like a kimchi, kind of bok choy, things that have
You're
a lot of.
You're not eating hot food unless you feel like you're on fire.
Right. You should sweat.
And
you've got to lose your breath.
And not be able to talk. Yeah.
And so the weird thing about me is that I have like this extremely high tolerance to heat.
Me too.
So, and I didn't realize because I don't eat a lot of hot foods, and it's not that I don't like them. I just don't eat a lot of hot foods. And when we were making the jerk, I ordered because I have the special order the ghost pepper powder. And I get it off a place at on Amazon, and it's like $10 for an ounce, right?
Wow.
And I didn't really know what a ghost pepper was, So two of the teenagers that were working for me at the time, they go, and I always taste everything raw before I put it,
Right.
It's like when you cook, you got to taste the seasoning before you know what it's going to do.
Right. If you're a good cook, some cooks don't taste their own stuff, and then
right. So they're like, so how much of this? How much of this? And these guys thought they were going to be funny because they knew what ghost peppers were, right? So they're waiting on me, and they know how I do things. So they're sitting there, and they're getting all red in the face because they're like busting up laughing and things like that. And so I take the ghost pepper and I take about 3 pinches of it and put it in my hand and I throw it back, right? And they're like looking at me like this, and they're looking at me, they're waiting for me to have this reaction, and I'm like, okay, so let's use about a teaspoon of that, right? And they're looking at each other, and as I feel the heat, I know what they're on to, right?
Right.
So now I know to really not give them a reaction.
Right. I'm going to suppress it. I'm like,
yeah. So and I'm going, and they're going, and they're going. Hey, so I walk away. I go deal with a customer. So they must have been like, oh no, this is not right. That's not ghost pepper, whatever.
Yeah.
And they kick it back. And my manager, her name is Lisa. She knows me. She knows that I'm a practical joker. So if you're going to try to pull one on me, make sure.
Yeah, you got your game. You got to have your game on tap. You can't come weak. You got to come strong. I'm just saying.
I had to send one of them home.
Dude, there's no way because most people. I mean, you take a low and throw that back, especially if it goes right to the back of your mouth, their throat.
Ooh.
Oh boy, that's got. And you got to be like, yeah. In your mind, you're like, man, this is hot, like lava. But I'm not giving these guys an inch of shit. So they're gonna go in. Nah, you're gonna have to come. No, and they're just like,
his face,
what the hell's going on with this guy?
And he was coughing, and he was like, I'm like, oh God, now you're about to have an asthma attack. Yes. Go ahead and go home. I go, never, ever try to challenge me.
Yeah, it's like, what happened to Steve? Did you hear that? Steve threw back some ghost pepper. That dude died. He's in the hospital. He's on a ventilator, man. It's like, what? And then Lebarron's just like, boom. Yeah. Gangster. That shit just happened. If you're going to come to me, you better bring a better game than that, pal.
Brilliant, though, that is.
Because especially, brilliant. I know Lebarron's in mind. He's like, man, this is hot. And if I was reacting and not trying to keep up appearances, I'd probably let him know it's a little warm. But he's like, they're waiting for it. No. I'm not giving you an inch of it. No way, pal.
I didn't give them. I mean, it seemed like I just ate a teaspoon of sugar,
Yeah.
They were like, so to this day, because they don't work for me any longer, because they all, they got better jobs. They outgrew me. But to this day, they're like, you know what, you were wrong. You were wrong. I was like, no, I wasn't wrong. It's just that your practical joke backfired.
Right. You got to make sure that, yeah. And then Dave's made a comment too, yeah, about these Carolina Reapers. Those things are like, their Scovilles are like in the millions, man. That stuff is like super hot. If you went to that, you'd have to probably put a warning on that, probably.
No, I ordered some Carolina Reaper powder, and maybe I just got the wrong stuff. I got to get some more because it wasn't as hot as the ghost pepper.
Oh yeah, I think you may have to grow your own and then have to pulverize it and kind of come up with your own blend because you never really know if you're getting that. That's the kind of stuff you can maybe grow locally or have some kind of like. I wonder if you have like a skunk works, right? Like you have flavors where you can kind of like mess with them and kind of like a lab, right? You get into a lab situation where you start getting like crazy, like let's grow our own like hydroponic, like ghost peppers or reapers or whatever, and then play with it. Like I wonder if you ever get to a chance where you can have like a test lab, right? Where this is like the test flavors and you can create different combinations. That'd be kind of interesting.
Well, so right now I've got a couple. I forgot what type of engineers they're called, but I got a couple of companies that have been chasing me down. Because it's like we can get any flavor or any that you want, and we'll put it in the lab and one of them they engineer for the company. I don't know if you guys get Hers chips.
Yeah, I've seen them before. Yeah, I've never bought them, but I've seen them. They've been there. You can't get them everywhere, but I've seen them before for sure. Yeah.
Their chips, as far as flavor, their chips have been the most accurate that I've ever had. Okay, but they're a small company. I forget who owns them, but they're a small company, and they're only usually in like some Midwestern states or whatever, and you can get them here and there. You can't get them that often, and it's like the engineer for that company, I ran into one of the engineers. So I got him in my phone and everything, and it's like I want it, because I want to do a ketchup flavored popcorn.
Oh yeah.
Because I've had the Hers ketchup chips, and I'm like, this is like right on point, So that, and then they do like a baby back rib, and you can literally taste the smoke in it.
Oh wow, yeah. So, I'm looking it up right now. Hers Snacks is out of.
I was going to say I've never had anything like that tastes anything like it's supposed to.
And another thing they have in St. Louis and Lebarron's probably never heard of this. They have like pork steaks. So like, like a pork, like almost like a regular steak, but it's like a pork steak. And that same company, Old Vienna, they did like a pork steak flavored barbecue chip. I swear to God, it was like, I didn't believe it because I had a guy, I used to be a police officer. So I had one of my guys go, hey man, did you see those pork steak flavored chips? I go, oh, they got to taste like shit, right? Because I mean, that's a really specific kind of flavor, like a pork steak. And that's local to St. Louis. And he's like, no, man, I'll bring him in. So I came into work one night and on my desk, he had put a bag from these Old Vienna. I tried them. I was like, oh shit, these are perfect. They taste just like a pork steak. So it's those kind of things too, where you're trying to get, especially when they're local varieties, like, any kind of, Doritos are ubiquitous. You can get those anywhere. But when you have those local, like specific, like Red Hot Riplets or Hers chips or, those kind of things that are specific to regions, you have to, I guess they have like people that can take that flavor and like engineering. They actually take the thing and actually put it and they can analyze it.
Right.
And it get exact flavor spectrums. Yeah.
Having that local taste somewhere else in the world that tastes exactly like it's supposed to is great. I can't imagine anything that I want to try more than stuff that you keep telling me about that's local to St.
There you go. We got Roysters. These, I think Simon's throwing out some Roysters. He's talking about Brannigan's beef and mustard. I don't know what.
But he's with me. He lives in the UK.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, but if you had a UK,
we've got weird flavors you've probably never heard of.
Oh yeah, well you guys got salt and vinegar, which I can't get down with those chips. They're just vinegars. Like I can't do them. I try, but I can't.
What's wrong with salt and vinegar?
That's not my thing.
That's one of them. Salt and vinegar popcorn used to be our big mover.
Right.
Dill pickle popcorn sells 5 times more than the salt and vinegar, but I have a slew full of customers with salt and vinegar and dill.
Yeah, I know you had the dirty dill too. That looks pretty good. I almost got the dirty dill because that looked pretty good with the cracked pepper. That was pretty cool.
So the dirty dill is another major. It's actually on a rise as of late, and the dirty dill is actually from Georgia.
Okay.
And what used to happen is we would have customers that would come in and mix the dill pickle with the sea salt cracked pepper, and they would call it the dirty dill.
Sweet.
You know, it's because it's like the dirty South, so
Right.
they would call it the dirty dill. So then I'm like, look, we were mixing so many bags, and it takes us, a little time to mix bags. I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna make the flavor.
Right. Might as well.
That's what we did. Yeah, we did the dirty dill, and that one's on the rise now.
Yeah, I can tell you.
What happens is people have so much dill pickle, they're like, I gotta get a new flavor, so they'll go to the dirty dill, and they're like, oh, this is great too. So now dirty dill is becoming.
Yeah, still dill, but they still get some variations, so it feels like a new product, but they still kind of have some familiarity with the old flavor. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know if you had St. Louis, like you would have flavors like pork steak flavor and red hot riplets. I mean, I know if I had a shop in St. Louis, if we had that kind of stuff, and we have like this thing, we have like regional St. Louis kind of things, like toasted raviolis and those kind of things, to try to find those regional flavors. And then the rest of the stuff I could tell you, like a strawberry cheesecake. Dude, if they were strawberry cheesecake at like a shop where you could actually go to a shop in St. Louis and buy it, we'd have lines out the door, man. That place would be rolling. I mean, yeah, we have nothing like that in St. Louis. They have like ice cream places like that where you can get like, like Menchie's, and you can put like froyo and stuff like that, but not specifically a popcorn, especially when you can get all those flavors and mix them and match them. And then the experience, I think that's the hook on that, is the experience of the store.
Yeah.
And having a good time and having something that's fun and enjoyable on top of the product being good, and any flavor you can imagine, especially if you walk in your local manager and say, hey man, if you could get a local, like if you have enough, traction on a specific kind of flavor, go, hey, Lebarron, I've been hearing about this, man. What you think about it? And you're like, if you can get a hook up on it and let's taste it, if you can sell it, let's run with it, man. Let's just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's pretty much how we test out every location with our major flavors. Like we have like 100 flavors that we're like, okay, all of these will do decent. Then what will happen is the customers will come in. And the thing is all you have to do is listen to the customer. Customers will come in, okay, I bet you don't have this flavor. And it's usually always the flavor of that area. It's like the most common thing of that area. After I hear it about 10 times in a week, it's like, okay, let's go do it,
Yeah. And the fact that you can, and you would allow your franchisee some flexibility in that area to say, hey, look, man, here's what we get in like a lot of call for this specific X flavor. Send you guys some and say, hey, what do you think about this? We're going to run with it and make sure quality control is intact and we keep the brand, because that's important. I don't think that people really understand, we talk about phones and stuff in the show, but they don't really understand like that name has to be synonymous with quality, right? You have to have a rigid quality control because of the internet presence and the fact that one bad review, one bad experience can taint a lot. You got to make sure that quality control is tight, and and unfortunately, and Lebarron knows he's hired a bunch of people. It's hard to find people who have that same passion.
Oh, God,
and if you could find somebody that was like bought in 100,000% and can like see it and go, man, let's do this. How valuable would that be to you as far as a manager and a development standpoint? How valuable that could be as somebody who has that same dedication to quality control and management and listening to customers and having that service component. That's key. If you can find somebody like that, that's almost invaluable to a businessman like yourself, probably.
Definitely. It is definitely. And the thing is what happens is the bad employees usually become worse employees because they feel like you're showing favoritism to the employee that you value the most. And I'm just that business owner to tell them, well, I am. I'm trying to get you to that point. Look, if you put in the work ethic that this person does, and then guess what? You get some of the same love, but it's like, what do you expect me to do? I don't have to worry about this person. This person is doing everything that they're supposed to do. If they need Monday off, hey, I'm going to figure a way to give them money off,
Right.
Yeah, they've got the drive that you want. You haven't.
Yeah.
Well, and plus they take ownership in the brand, and they also take responsibility that if they're the manager of that store, that they run the shop, and then they have to do it from a leadership perspective. But they also realize too that the hardest workers, the ones that bring value to your brand, and those are the ones you want to cultivate, right? You don't want to spend energy and time with somebody who's either one, not focused. And I always tell people, and this is what I always say to anybody that I train in my line of work, I say, you can only control your effort. That is 100% controllable. Your color, you can't control how tall, how short, how smart, right? Your effort, your willingness to do the work and put the effort in, that's 100% your control. And that's what's really going to make you successful, because you can't control the other stuff, right? Luck, right? Opportunity, you just happen to be at the right place at the right time. But if you're willing, and I always tell my daughters, if you're willing to put in the hustle and you're willing to do the work and just grind and just work hard, eventually one day you don't even going to know it. If you're doing it smart, somebody's going to tap you on the shoulder and go, "Hey, I've noticed you. You're somebody I can get behind. Let me cultivate this talent and kind of make this work for me." If you're doing it well, you won't even know that's going to happen, because that's not you actually manufacturing that. It's organically happening where your boss is like, "Man, this Sam guy's crushing it, man. He's really smart. He comes in, he works hard, and he's all about the business and being professional and kicking ass." That's the kind of guy I want to get behind.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? You said so much in that, because the thing about it is what I tell people is this. Look, I don't, like right now, I'm not at the point, I'm generating money, right? So people see me as a successful business person, but I'm still at the state of generating money, generating capital. You know, I'm not per se making money, you know, like I don't take home a paycheck still, right? So I tell people all the time, I go, look, I'm a business person, all right? And making money is not a problem of mine. Like, when you become an entrepreneur, I haven't punched the clock since 2004. So I've learned how to survive, right? I've learned how to live off $5, $10, $20. Whatever I bring in, I've learned how to live off of it. All right. So what I try to relate to my employees is that, look, I've made my money before I get here.
Right.
Okay. I've done the things that it takes to allow me to be here. Everything that you do that hurts the business is affecting your opportunity to gain a paycheck.
Right.
You know, and that's really how I explain it to them. You know, it's like you can either be all in, all right, and help keep this ship afloat, or you can do things that damage the reputation, and you're going to get the byproduct of that. Like just this summer, you know, when we made $100,000 in a couple of days, right? Well, I lost $40,000 because when you get that many customers at one time, this is possible for you to keep them all happy.
Right.
But when when you're running a business where customer service is one of the main factors, guess what? You end up paying for those customers.
Oh, yeah,
just to keep them happy and just to get them to come back again.
Right.
Right. So we generated 100,000. I came out upside down 40,000. You know.
Yeah.
So that's me as a business person. It's like I got to throw in another $40,000 just to keep that business circulating and to get those customers to come back. And the way that I tell the employees is, you come in Friday, your paycheck is still there. I lost $40,000. Your paycheck is still there. So I just need you guys to do your part, because I'm going to do my part. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and that's, I think
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's always the problem I have with the labor force. Always have this narrative. Well, why does the CEO get to make so much money? I said, because usually in a situation like the Barons, it's his shirt that he's going to lose. If you come in and you punch your clock and you do your 40 hours and the business is still there, you're going to get paid. He may not. So all the risk is borne on him. It's his decision. If he makes a good decision,
a lot of
business
people
is
don't realize that, though.
It's like you have it easy, but but those things can exist binary, right? They don't have to be one or the other. And if they're in a good, successful business, they run aligning each other. You work and you get your paycheck, and then Lebarron can make decisions and make choices for the company that work better. And he can take the risk knowing that, yeah, we might take it a little bit of a short-term loss. We may take the hit. And I'm okay with taking a punch in the jaw if I can win the war. At the end of the day, if I can make a successful business, that's what you got to do. And trying to conceptualize you as a worker, as labor force, as a entrepreneur who's even, maybe is insulated from like loss and debt, but like a sole proprietor, I mean, they lose a business, they're out. Then they're legally responsible for all that debt. I mean, they have to take that. That's a totally different plane to exist on. And most people, you tell them, and that's why that's the only narrative I have about when I was a police officer was, I said, I understand you know what a job is, but when you realize all that a component, like a lifestyle, it's a different thing to explain. It's same thing with a business owner. You can't conceptualize it because you've never had that risk where your decision could cost you $50K like that.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh shit, well, I guess my family doesn't eat. And then I got to get creative, right? I mean, that's a different level.
Thought like that, then there'd be a lot more people that would be successful. Because a lot of the time you just go to work, you clock in, you don't think about anything, you do your job-ish, minimal, clock out, go home. Nah, you need to be on the same page. You need to be willing to take the hit, but then your employees need to be willing to drive as much as they possibly can to get that possible next 50 customers.
Right. And I hate I hate what I call is 8 and skate. I don't like those kind of people. Just come in, do their 8 hours and skate out the door. You got to have people that are like looking to, that's
off your own back while you're at work. Just think about it, promote something, do something like off the cuff, suggest some ideas on a way to draw attention to a certain store or, like anything like that. That's what you need from your employees. Yes.
It's always a challenge.
It's always a challenge. Yeah. It'd be nice if there was more people that thought like that, but.
And I tell them like this, because a lot of times I think business owners take it at the wrong approach. They take it at the approach that, okay, I'm the owner, do it this way. I tell them all the time, I've got a boss and you've got a boss, right? And I tell them all the time, that person that comes in and buys that bag of popcorn, that's the boss. Mm-hmm. If you keep that person happy and smiling, that's where the money comes from. Because I don't have a money tree, right?
And they keep coming back and becoming return and repeat customers. Yeah, that's what you need.
All right. So, like I tell them all the time, I left the workforce not because I couldn't take orders, right? I still take orders. I take orders from every customer that comes through that door. Because despite what society says, the customer is always right.
Right.
And
even if they're wrong, they've got the spending power.
And I tell people, I say, so they go, well, you know that person, yeah, I understand, but there's a way to make the customer seem like they feel like they were right, even when they were wrong.
Yeah,
right?
You just got to be smart about it.
Because when that customer comes back, it's a return customer. If you get them in the door the first time, fine. But when you get them in the door that second time, you did something right.
Yep.
Those are your bosses. That's your boss. So if we get 50 customers a day, you got 50 people above me.
Right.
That I got to answer to.
Yep.
And the secret is right there.
That's a good way of looking at it as well.
That's a fantastic way.
It's not just employees, business owners also have to be on the same page. Like you say, the customers are the boss because they'll generate the money. That's a good way to look at it. And that's how success drives success, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, those are fantastic insights, and I'm glad we had you on to talk about those things, because I think you don't get many business owners to talk about like what their methodology is and how they approach their work and their business and all those kind of things. I think for people listening who just are maybe like me, I work for a big bunch of people, right? Hearing that aspect of it is something that I think is really awesome. So I'm glad you are willing to come on and share that with us. And I also realize you're moving around and getting things done. So I really appreciate time.
We will not take up any more of your time. We really appreciate you coming on. Definitely.
So in case anybody doesn't know, if you're looking, where's the best way they can get a hold of you, the website and all that, we'll make sure we put notes in the show notes. That way we can direct some more traffic to you. He's back in the house. I can hear him just fine. He may not be able to hear us. Oh, he goes. Cool.
Quiet space, a quiet box.
There you go. So we were telling. So
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We've heard you the whole time. We heard the dogs barking and everything. So it's all been good.
Okay.
Oh, it's okay. He's refreshing. So, well, in case he doesn't come back, and I hope he does, we want to make sure we get Lebarron back. But Popcorn World, check it out. I order a bag.
Definitely.
We want to make sure, and if we can get it to people in the UK, we may have to do that where we get a big bag of.
I call my people in the UK. Just go and look at the website. Seriously, just go and check out the flavors that you can't get at the minute, but just have a look. But like, it's so good. I can't even explain. Like, I've been through that website and I'm looking at it and I'm going, I want that. I want that.
So for those of you, so if you search Popcorn World on a Google search, you're going to find some other ones, but you're looking for Doing the World of Flavor. Awesome website. When you go on the website, you'll see it, and they've got the flavors, they've got everything you can imagine. Ordering is really easy. We're going to try to see. We got to get something pushed to the UK. Wait, I got him here. Hold on a second. Hey, there he is. We got you back.
I apologize.
No, it's okay.
T-Mobile's wonderful connection.
No, we actually heard you the whole time getting out of the car and the dogs barking and everything. So we're all good. So we were just kind of telling everybody about, for people who,
Doing the World of Flavor.
Doing the World of Flavor. Go check them out and get you some. And we'll have to figure out some way to get some UK, because a lot of our.
This is what I'm saying. Or everybody in the UK who's here now, just go and look at the website and look at all the flavors, man. Seriously, I've looked.
Yeah, I'm gonna find a way to do this whole UK thing, because it's been bugging me for some months now. So.
Yeah, well, anything we can do to help facilitate that, we got Matt and everybody else. So if we can offer some assistance on the logistics on how to get that done.
If we can get enough people together, we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of people interested, so
definitely.
You never know. The amount of people that are interested, there might just be that one person who has.
And there you go. DT has shared the website, so go check out. And definitely, if you're into popcorn, even if you're not, and you have family members who are, and you want to give them a nice Christmas gift, Hanukkah gift, whatever, just graduating high school, or just buy
mine.
Well, I'm just saying, but I'm just telling you, even if you're not a popcorn fan, I'm sure somebody in your family is a popcorn fan, and you need to be doing yourself a favor and going to this website and get it taken care of.
Because they're 8 and 10, they love stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I'm going to apologize ahead of time. So if anyone orders today, understand the predicament that I'm in now. I'm about 150 orders in the hole.
Right.
And we can get roughly about, currently the way I'm staffed and the way our kitchens are running now, until I get this other kitchen open, we can move about 75 to 100 orders in a day.
Okay.
But I get, like, just between me walking to the car and sitting down right here, I got 3 orders.
Yeah.
So it's like we get about 40 orders a day. So it's like, and everything that we do, this is all hand-coated stuff.
Right.
Like, literally, I have someone that melts down chocolate, and hand pours it on the popcorn, and in an electric store, they're stirring it. This is a hand-coated product.
Right.
So
it's made with love and care.
As long as you're patient, you'll be,
Oh yeah, and that, I think, I'm
patient. I'm very patient.
And knowing that's the way it's being prepared, I think I'm willing to pay the extra money or wait the extra time, because it's just, that somebody's doing it and then somebody's actually being good at their craft.
It's not on a conveyor belt in a factory just being
right.
It's being hand done, so the quality's there.
And I can't tell you how many times that I've turned down business opportunities to go that route. Like I literally have people that will invest nice money. I mean, I'm talking in the tune of $750,000 to $1 million to go what they call continuous run.
Oh yeah,
but it's not worth it's like the business is what it is. If somebody wants to invest, it is what it is. It doesn't change.
Right.
Because you don't want it's not going to become just another
Exactly.
that just
Well, we
makes
got
the same thing over and over again.
And
Each
we got
bag
some-
is different, even though it's the same flavor. Each bag is different. It's like,
right. And we got some. Looks like we got some alcohol inspired flavors. I guess Jack Daniels and some Guinness. I don't know if that's a thing.
This
Who
is
knows?
the UK.
See, now, those
We
those
want
would
alcohol.
Those would be the ones that I would like. Like I couldn't do a Jack Daniels because. So this is the thing: when you kettle popcorn is being kettled at about 430, 440 degrees.
Wow, that's hot.
If I pour Jack Daniels in there, it's just going to evaporate. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get a flavor. You're not gonna have a flavor.
Yeah,
potential,
just ignore the UK people. They're just like alcohol.
But now I do have one that was successful that I just did several months ago called Bourbon Crunch.
Okay.
So that one will be on the site pretty soon. I do have a Irish cream, which the Irish cream they say tastes like a Bailey's. I'm not a drinker, so I don't know what Bailey's tastes like.
Bailey's is nice.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Irish creams are just really nice in general.
Yeah, so
that one sounds really nice.
And then I have a spiked eggnog.
So, I'm in on that. I love eggnog. I'm one of those few. My wife thinks I'm disgusting. She thinks it's disgusting. I love that stuff. I drink
like
eggnog.
Yeah,
I've never had eggnog.
It's good, especially if you get like Jack Daniels or bourbon or just anything in it, or even just spicy, like a spiced one. It's really good. I like it. A little hard to drink, but yeah. So if anybody's in the chat, if you're watching this and you're interested, we're going to try to figure out some way to get some orders to the UK for anybody. But look at the list, take a look and gander, and maybe we'll get a mass order. We'll run it by Lebarron and see if there was something logistically we can pull off in the little bit of time. So we'll work with him for sure to get that done.
Definitely.
Perfect. Well, Lebarron, I didn't realize that you have very limited time and bandwidth about everything, and I appreciate you coming on the show. And don't ever apologize for having to do business and do the things we actually like that. We know that that's the way life is, especially even on a Sunday.
Yeah, it's the way things go.
I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it.
And we'll make sure that every time now we don't ask for any sponsorship, but we'll make sure that we tell anybody if you're looking for a snack. We want to make sure we mention it because it's good quality product. It's a small Black-owned business, and we want to support any small businesses because those are the ones that are going to be in your community. Those are going to be the ones that have gentlemen like Lebarron who are trying to do right by employees, do right by communities, and do right by their general populations and be
small
good
businesses are what
runs the world in the United States.
Because big businesses are just they're just by the fact they're just robots, aren't they?
Right.
Yeah.
And this isn't a plug. I'm not even but the sponsor of the show is a small business, and we're more than happy to support them. They're not a massive. They're not like D-brand or anything like that.
Right.
Small.
They're just somebody who's trying to do the right thing. There's a guy behind it all. It's what it is.
So we want to make sure.
Yeah, and I came into the tech community because I'm a techie, number one, and number two. That's the community I love. The tech community has gotten me to this point, and I try to support each and every one that I can because I tell people like this, and I think I may have mentioned it earlier. There's fewer people on the top than there are on the bottom.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I like to reach out to all the normal everyday Joes like myself. If it gets to the top, that's fine, that's great, but the top is the minority when it comes to need.
Right.
There's more guys down here, blue collar, everyday Joes that are trying to make things happen. So that's one of the reasons why I try to support the tech community as much as possible the way that I do.
Well, our support is supporting us is really awesome, and you coming on our show is really like I said, Matt and I have been looking forward to this all week. We've been chatting back and forth, going, man, I can't wait to get Lebarron because he just seems like a genuinely good guy. But I also
will say one thing: I would love to get you back on again and do a techie talk.
Oh,
because
definitely.
This is obviously we definitely wanted to talk about popcorn and how everything, the origin story, because that's what we like.
Right.
But because you're a techie as well, which obviously we know. We would love to get you back on and talk.
Definitely, because believe it or not, you guys don't realize that popcorn is just a percentage, like not even half, maybe not even a third. It's a small percentage of what is in store. This was just a business to get everything else. When I say I'm a techie at heart, I'm a techie at heart.
Cool.
Right now, I'm paying programmers in Ghana right now for my next project, which is that's my $1 billion baby.
Cool. So, well, we'll stay tuned because we want you to have all the success in the world because it's really nice to actually have real good quality people because I think at this day and age with business owners, you still don't get that, man. You still get people who are in it for different reasons and different motivations, and we want to support the good ones, and you are definitely one of those people, sir. So anything we can do to help further that or with our little amount of scope, we are not the Joe Rogan experience, but hell, if we can throw anybody to your business and in future endeavors, we will be more than happy to do so. It's been our pleasure.
Even people that aren't on this chat, I've told people in work, friends, that you've got to check this out. You've got to have a look at this. We can't get it just yet, but you need to just check it out. Just have a look. So it's just, when the day comes, I'm going to push it.
I definitely appreciate you guys.
Oh, you're welcome, sir. So we'll wrap the show up for Matt and myself and Lebarron. Thank you for taking your time to come on our show. Have a good week. Be safe. Enjoy your tech. And catch us next Sunday for another Across the Pondcast, the best podcast no one's ever heard of except us and maybe about 20 other people. Yeah, it's okay. You got to start somewhere, right? Everybody always had 0 followers to start out, right?
You start at the bottom. That's
okay. And we're okay with that. So, Lebarron, again, thank you, sir, for your time. And
my pleasure.
That'll end it. Matt, be good. Enjoy your pixel. I'll see you next week. See ya.